So he's now 43-41. During the penalties, the clock doesn't move. You don't start the clock again until after the penalty is thrown. Okay, and there's only 1 second to go, and it's 43-41. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. The white team couldn't get itself out of an operating mode which said we have 2 free throws, we must throw them at that basket and then the game will be over. No, it isn't. 1 second. As long as the ball is in the air, then the game doesn't end until it touches the ground. And it only took the red team 1 second to catch that ball and throw it to the other end of the court and win, because a ball thrown outside of the D scores 3 points. Thank you. If you deprive yourself of the consideration of outsourcing, you deprive yourself of the opportunity. And at the heart of that opportunity, we are talking about people, the employees and customers, the people that we strive. While we're still mulling over the concept of whether the commissioning debate is the right way to go, the reality is that the world is moving on much, much faster, and that the customer and the expectations of the customer are moving way beyond what we believe we are even hearing. And the key to this is customer centricity and employee expectation. I used to be the HR director with the Police Authority in Northern Ireland, working with the RUC before the name change. And on one of the evenings, not long after I joined, I'd come out of my office into what was known as the private office, where all the PAs sat, and who is standing there but Sir Ronnie Flanagan. Okay, he wasn't Sir then, he was just Ronnie Flanagan, but he was standing there, and he was looking at the office shredder. You know, you can imagine we had to shred a lot. In the RUC, and he's standing in front of it, and it's quite clear he doesn't know how to work it, but I do. All right, opportunity, I do. So I walked up and I said to him, "Good evening, Chief Constable, can I help you?" Opportunity. He said, "I've got this really important document and I can't let it, get lost. I need to get it, into this machine." I said, "Don't worry, leave it with me." "Thank you," he said. "Thank you. And by the way, welcome to the RUC." And I said, "That's okay. I've done it." And he's just walking away, and I stick it in the machine, and it's going in. He says, "Oh, by the way, 4 copies." The problem is that we can't get ourselves out of the panopticon thinking in terms of how we deal with our customers and with our staff, and how that affects our approach to outsourcing. And I don't know if you know about the panopticon concept, but it's the concept that if the manager can't see what you're doing, you won't be doing it. And that's why a lot of the very early great buildings during the Industrial Revolution were actually built round. Not because we didn't know how to build square walls, but if we built them round and we put the manager in the centre or the owner in the centre, they could keep an eye on us. Because if you don't see the whites of their eyes, you don't know what they're up to, do you? That was the panopticon, and we're still doing it. There's an organisation in Northern Ireland, I've got to be careful in case you have a background in it, but very famous technical organisation that made one of the very first fax machines for Amstrad. In fact, it was the famous one that they made initially out of plastic, and the plastic melted. But soon after, they changed and were taken over by Nortel. All over the papers in Northern Ireland were these big headlines of this new approach to management. The chief executive had moved his office from the ivory tower right into the centre of the factory in a glass cube. And people thought that was the future. That was a panopticon. He didn't trust anybody to do it right unless he was watching them. And he was stuck in the past and not prepared to see the opportunity of going forward, as we are in the public sector with outsourcing. Now, by now, you're probably realising that I'm kind of supportive of outsourcing. I have to tell you, I don't just believe, as our last speaker said, it is an option. I believe it's the only option. Sorry, we'll just move on with this. In that sense, the relationship we have to have going forward with our outsourcers will decide that it's successful. And we cannot look back on previous outsourcing exercises and use their failure to say that's why outsourcing doesn't work, because that's not the case. It hasn't worked in the past because of these simple items on this list. Thank you. No clarity objectives, no buy-in from staff, you know. These are the things that have caused the failure to date. And remember, if you deprive yourself of the consideration of outsourcing, you deprive yourself of the opportunity going forward.
Welcome to Burger King. May I take your order?
Yeah, can I get a value meal number 2 with no onions, please?
Is that a value meal number 5 with onions?
No. Can I just get a value meal number 2, plain?
You want onions?
Look, what's your name?
Lamont.
Okay, Lamont, can I speak with somebody else, please?
Why you want to speak to someone else for?
No, I just think we're having a difficult time communicating. Can I?
Thank you for calling Gateway. How may I help you?
What?
Oh, sorry, sir. I read my screen incorrectly. Welcome to Burger King. May I take your order?
Are you inside of a call center or something?
A call center, sir.
Okay, how are you taking my order from a call center? And what happened to Lamont?
Sir, I don't know who Mr. Lamont is, sir. Would you like to try our bacon cheese chicken?
What did Burger King outsource its call center to?
India, sir. And just the order taking is outsourced. Your order will still be filled by a higher priced and lazier American.
Welcome to Burger King. May I take your order?
Are you a computer?
To serve you better, we receive your order through voice recognition software. May I take your order?
What happened to the call centers in India and...
India outsourced its call center to China. China uses technology instead of human workers. That eliminates mistakes and keeps Burger King prices low for customers like you. May I take your order?
Okay, I'd like a value meal number 2 without onions.
I think you said you would like a value meal number 5 with onions. Is this correct?
No. A value meal number 2 without onions.
Did you say you want a value meal number 1 with a pickle?
It's a bit of fun, isn't it? The reality is that is now what is happening in the fast food environment in America today. Now watch a similar advert, only this one's a real one.
Action 7 News live at 6.
Happens far too often.
You go through the drive-up window at a fast food restaurant and it takes minutes for someone to actually take your order. Well, often that's because the person is doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. New at 6, Action 7 News reporter Drew Rudnick shows us how one company coming to Roswell could get your food to you faster.
I'm anxious to get started, and I'm anxious to see this company locate here in Roswell. I like the idea of being able to work out of my home, being able to choose my own hours, and the training being provided for.
Verity, an Illinois-based company, held a job fair today in Roswell looking for bilingual workers to greet customers at drive-thru windows at certain fast food restaurants. Employees won't be based at a call center, they'll be working out of their home. You could be 2 states away, rolling through a McDonald's drive-thru, hit a sensor, and the voice you hear isn't coming from inside the restaurant. It could be coming from right here in Roswell. Seconds after pulling up to the order window in Phoenix or Orlando, a person working in Roswell will get a signal on their computer. It will take your order from their home and send it back to the person who is placing the order. Roswell employees will service McDonald's in California, Arizona, and Florida. Training begins at the end of the month. In Roswell, Drew Rudnick, KOAT Action 7 News.